Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time of the day it is where you are right now. This is Security Officer Reacts, and today we are doing an update to one of my previous videos. A couple of months back I covered Brent Cross, where they had an issue with looters. Literally a whole gang of kids jumped into an Apple store and just looted the place in broad daylight with hundreds of witnesses. Security were pretty much unable to do anything, and even if they were, they probably didn't want to because they were masked. Some of them weren't kids, some of them were probably late teens or maybe young adults, and they probably didn't want to take the risk of getting stabbed. But anyway, we do have an update on that, so let's quickly go into this, shall we? So this is the Crime Watch UK website, and obviously you can probably remember this background here from the video clip we covered, and this is an interesting one because it says a child to pay compensation from his own pocket after raid on Apple Store. Good luck with that. Do you even know how much the cheapest item in an Apple Store actually costs? If you were to go out and pay for it, it's the most extortionate company known to man. Anyway, a 14-year-old boy involved in a £50,000 iPhone robbery has been ordered to pay just £200 in compensation, highlighting the challenges courts face when sentencing juvenile offenders with limited financial means. Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, when it said like child to pay compensation, you're thinking, well, 50 grand, I think most adults would struggle to pay that, but a 14-year-old, I mean, what's he got, like a paper round? No. I mean, if he's out looting with his gang and all the rest of it, he's definitely not doing a paper round. He's definitely not working at all, really, because he's not old enough to work. So yeah, that does cause some issues there, doesn't it? Because how's a 14-year-old going to get 200 quid? Probably dealing, probably stealing, probably doing this, that, and the other. You'd like to think that the parents would get involved, if the parents even give a damn. But anyway. Robbery. This teenager, who cannot be named for legal reasons, participated in a raid on an Apple store in central London in January 2025. The group stole iPhones and other devices totaling 50 grand in value. The boy was apprehended shortly after the incident with several stolen items in his possession. Court proceedings. During the hearing at the youth court, the prosecution detailed the boy's involvement in the organised theft despite the substantial value of the stolen goods. The court recognised the limitations in imposing financial penalties on a minor without income or assets. So lock him up then. Send him to Kiddie Borstal or whatever. Lock him up. You know, have they stopped doing that nowadays? I mean, I'll probably, yeah, I've answered my own question. Yes, of course they have. This is England. Lawless Britain. Sentencing and compensation. The judge sentenced the teenager to a 12-month youth rehabilitation order, focusing on rehabilitation and preventing reoffending. Okay, now that I do agree with, because again, if it's done right, handled with the right people, and it's got the right materials to kind of, you know, scared straight, so to speak. You know, like in America where they send a load of kids to an adult prison and they get all the convicts to play bad cop, essentially, like proper scaring the living shit out of them. I don't think we'd do things like that over here, but again, if it's constructive and the kids actually, I mean, he's obviously had it imposed on him, so it's not like he really has a choice. But if he's going to be one of these smart-mouthed, I know it all, full of attitude, chip on his shoulder kids, he's probably just going to sit through it, not paying attention, not interested, not giving a shit, basically thinking about the end of the course so that he can go off and go thieving and robbing with his mates again. However, if it's done right and people end up getting through to some of these kids, again, it kind of saves them down the road from getting more severe, you know, criminal records, because again, the last thing you want to do is end up with a serious criminal record on your sentence before you even get into the big wide world of actually wanting to grow up and settle down and, you know what, I probably need to get my act together and get a job. Oh, I can't because I fucked myself over when I was 14 because I was with the wrong crowd. So yeah, again, if this works, this should hopefully sort him out. But again, I don't know what the statistics are on these sort of things, and whether they do actually have a decent outcome or whether the kid's just sitting there just not giving a shit. I don't know. So yeah, the judge sentenced the teenager to a 12-month youth rehabilitation order, focusing on rehabilitation and preventing reoffending. Additionally, the court ordered him to pay £200 in compensation, acknowledging that this amount was symbolic given his financial situation. Now, 200 quid doesn't sound like a lot, but again, if you're on the dole or you're struggling with money, that can be a lot of money. £10 can be a lot of money if you don't have it. I'm hoping that his parents are kicking his arse into line, because again, it's probably going to come out of their pocket if you're going to be realistic about it. That's literally who's really getting fined. His parents are getting fined, not him. Legal perspectives. Legal experts note that while the compensation is minimal compared to the loss incurred, the court's primary aim is to balance accountability with the offender's capacity to pay. Imposing a higher financial penalty on a juvenile without means could be deemed unreasonable and counterproductive. I don't know about the case. Obviously, we don't know the kid because he's not allowed to be identified because he's underage. We don't know about his family life, his history. We don't know. So again, it's hard to make a judgment on something where we've got very limited information on. But if the courts have judged up everything based on what's been presented in the court, that could be the best solution. It might not be. We don't know. Public reaction. The case has sparked debate about the adequacy of penalties for juvenile offenders involving in high-value crimes. Some members of the public expressed concern that such lenient financial penalties may not serve as a sufficient deterrent. However, others argue that focus should be on rehabilitation rather than punitive measures for young offenders. And that's the end of the article. Yeah, I mean, I do agree. Sometimes I do think that prison is, without doubt, the place where certain people need to go, depending on the circumstances. Every case should be looked at differently. Anybody that may not have gone to prison, every case is completely different. Tarring everyone with the exact same brush is, in my opinion, wrong. Because again, people say, well, I was brought up in a very, very tough childhood, or this, that, and the other, and I never committed any offences. Well, okay. But again, unless you mirror some people's lives exactly day to day, choice to choice, everyone's different. We all make mistakes. The only thing is, it's whether we're able to learn from the mistakes and grow from them. If you keep making the same mistakes, then you're stupid. You deserve everything you get. But I do believe that everybody deserves a second chance at least once. What they do with that chance, whether they throw it away or whether they learn from it and do better, again, everyone should be judged on the merits of what happens afterwards. Not everybody should be treated exactly the same. Not everyone is a sex offender, not everyone is a murderer, a rapist, a child molester, or anything like that. Some people fall on hard times, again, they get desperate, and when you're stressed, when you're depressed, when you're in a really, really bad place, rational thought doesn't always come at the forefront of your decision making. Sometimes you think, shit, I'm in this situation, I need to just do this just to get out of it, and then everything's sorted. And then sometimes it never works out that way, and it all goes tits up and it all goes wrong. Again, there's a lot of criminals that are basically just made mistakes, made the wrong choices. You get other criminals that basically, they're like that from a young age. They don't know any different. They don't want to be, civil members of society. They don't want a job. They just want to choose crime. And, they're more likely just going to end up in jail most of their life. Again, everyone is responsible for their own actions. Your life is not a window. It is a mirror. Everything you have done in your life, every decision you've made, all comes down to you. Everybody you get a relationship with, everyone you marry, every job that you choose, your days through school, everything is down to you and you alone. And it's your decisions that reflect your life and your mistakes, and that's the way I see it. I mean, again, what do you think? Put your comments down in the bottom there. Please give the channel a like and a subscribe, and keep us going. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.